I hate telling people that I'm a nurse nowadays, I only tell people because I want frontline worker deals. That's what I'm looking for, the frontline worker deals. The best frontline worker deal that I've seen during the pandemic was the free chicken nuggets McDonald's gave. So I was that nurse on a night shift at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yo, I'm making a chicken nugget run. Because we're working in the hospital, like we were just like, are we gonna die here? Let's just eat chicken nuggets. That'll kill our pain. But then we ate so many chicken nuggets, our tears just turned to oil. We're like, is this COVID? Then we ran out of masks and we're like, use the chicken nuggets. So many chicken nuggets. It's crazy though. I worked in a nursing home. That was my primary. I worked in a nursing home for 15 years. So, no, calm down. Taking care of old people. People are lasting longer nowadays. I've taken care of somebody who's 114 years old. Yeah, 114 years old. Like everybody's 100 or something. And then, like you try and come into work upbeat, because I work night shifts, and it's usually creepy. It's just old people trying to die and shit. And you're like, calm down, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to upbeat. I'm like, hi, I'm your nurse. And they're just like, I just want to die. And I'm like, not during my shift. I don't think so. I'm like, I'm not trying to do that paperwork. I'm like turning up the oxygen and shit. I'm like, tonight we live. Tonight, we live. I'm like, my shift ends at 7:30. You can die at 7:45. Wait for the next nurse. You can wait. It's creepy. It's creepy working night shifts. It's creepy. Taking care of a lot of old people. I learned a lot. Working in a nursing home, I learned a lot. I learned that racism is still alive, but dying at the same time. There's a lot of old white people. I'm like, what did you say? But I don't want nobody dying during my shift, so I'm like, Jesus is black, and they're like, no! Turning up the oxygen at the same time, I'm like, Jesus is black. You don't want to go yet? Wait till after my shift. He will be white then. I know it's crazy. Being a nurse, taking care of old people. Because when they do die, you got to make that phone call. And it's like different if a younger person dies. People are sad and shit. But like with old people, it's always awkward. Because they're like, when is it going to happen? Like one time I called this one lady, I called her husband, I was new at the time, so I'm always like nervous calling people, because they don't teach you this stuff in nursing school. It's so annoying. I'm like, I'm so sorry, your husband, he passed away. And she's like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, what do you want me to do? Take a taxi? Take a taxi? And I'm like, I'm sorry for your loss? I'm confused. That's how old white ladies take it. It's so funny. Old Jamaican ladies are like, Lord Jesus, finally. I'm like, Mom? Young people are always just like super weird about it. They're like, hold on a second. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I already said my goodbye. I'm like, okay. Phone calls are hilarious. Man, it's just weird though, like nursing school. I'm annoyed at nursing school. There's no, like they don't teach you about death. I'm sorry guys about this set. They don't teach you about death, and they should. They should teach you about death and the different ways people pass away, because people die with expressions on their face. I didn't know this shit. I didn't know, and it freaked me out. Like sometimes, people pass away, it looks like they're sleeping. You're like, oh, they had a good life. This is beautiful. But then sometimes, people die with their eyes open, And I'm annoyed, okay? Because they don't teach you in nursing school that you actually can't close a person's eyes when they die with their eyes open. That shit only works in movies, and I didn't know this. You want to hear what happened to me? Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God, you guys, I'm traumatized. This is why I'm constantly angry. You guys, okay, so sometimes people die with their eyes open, but it's all like not even like normal, right? Like this one guy came in the room and he was like this. I was like, whoa. I was mostly like, what happened to you, bro? I was like, did the devil come and say it's time for you to go? And he was like, no! Like, his face was frozen. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was like, okay, this is weird. 8 family members came. 8 family members. They're all crying and shit. This guy's like, and they're like, oh, Grandpa's gone. And I'm like, yo, I ain't going in that room. And then the other nurse is like, you better go in the room, that's your patient. And I'm like, shut up. They're like, you shut up. And I'm like, we shouldn't be fighting, they can hear us. You know what I mean? Gotta stop doing that. Oh my God, but they called me. I'm like, no, I can see this guy with the corner of my face, and like, I didn't even know, we didn't wear masks back then, so, you know, if I laughed and shit, they would know. As I always laugh, nobody can't tell. I'm just like, no, but they called me, go in the room, and then they asked me this question, and I'm new at the time. I hate when people are crying. I just want to help immediately, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, can you close his eyes? And I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can close his eyes. I didn't read this in any nursing book. I didn't learn this in school. And then I'm trying to think what to do. I didn't know what to say, and then I remembered movies. Movies! They're always like, he's now resting in peace. And I'm like, if it works in movies, it has to work in real life. So I was like, don't worry, I'll be able to help you. And then as I was reaching in, all 8 of them were staring at my fingers, and I realized, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But I started reaching in anyways, and I touched his eyelids, and I still remember how that shit felt. It was nasty. I was like, oh my God. And I closed his eyelids. But then when I let go, he went like this, and they were like, oh! And I was like, oh! We were all screaming. It was awkward. I was thinking in my head, I can't leave yet. It's too soon. So this came out of my mouth. I didn't want to say it. I was like, let me try again. But this time I pressed his eyes in. And they're like, no. I'm like, sometimes you gotta press the eyeballs to the back of the brain. Like I'm pretending as shit. I don't know. And I'm like, And when I let go, he went like this, and they're like, oh my God. And I just backed out. I'm like, this only works in movies. It's just a test. I don't know. But the nurses that I work with are like, you're an idiot. This is how you close somebody's eyes. You wet a cloth and just rub their face down. And it worked for her. But then when I did it, because some old guy in the family's coming, I started making different expressions on his face. I'm like, oh my God, why is this guy looking to the left? Why is this guy looking to the right? Why is he angry? I'm like, rest in peace. Rest in peace. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you. You feel rest in peace. The devil is not among us. Get the Bible. I don't know. That was too much Jamaican for these hand signers.